Welcome to Learning English with Captain Binoy Varakil, Assistant Professor, Department of English, St. Joseph's College, Devagiri Kozhikode, Kerala. Today we look at the summary of the novel The Sympathizer by Viet Thanh Nguyen. The narrator of the novel describes himself to the commandant who has imprisoned him at a detention camp in North Vietnam as a spy, a sleeper, a spook, a man of two faces. The narrator is both a captain in South Vietnamese army and a spy for the North Vietnamese, acting under the instruction of Man, one of his blood brothers. The narrator recalls the fall of Saigon on 30th, 1975. Claude, the narrator's mentor and a CIA agent, arranges for the general and madam, a politically powerful South Vietnamese couple, to escape from Saigon with their immediate and extended family. The narrator puts together a list of select staff members who will also be allowed to board this plane, which will include the narrator's other blood brothers, Bond's wife, Lynn, and their son, Duck. The US government prepares C-130 planes for the escape. However, an attack on the airfield, which may have come either from the Viet Congress or from a disgruntled South Vietnamese soldiers, destroys the plane. The surviving refugees flee toward another plane originally intended for active duty US military. During this sprint, the narrator notices that Bond and his family have fallen behind. When he turns around to look for them, he sees that Bond is sitting on the ground, cradling the bodies of his wife and son. Narrator hurries on to the waiting plane, which first lands in Guam and later at Camp Pendleton in San Diego. The narrator, the general, madam, and Bond settle in Los Angeles. With the help of his former professor at Occidental College, Avery Wright Hammer, the narrator secures a job working for the department chair of the college's Department of Oriental Studies. There, the narrator reacquaints himself with the American racism and fetishism of Asian people. He also meets the secretary of the department, Mrs. Sophia Maury, and they become lovers. The narrator occasionally works for the general too, though not for pay, as a chauffeur. At a wedding between the daughter of a Vietnamese Marine colonel and the son of the vice president of the Saigon branch of Bank of America, the narrator sees the general and madam's eldest child, Lan, who goes by Lana for the first time since she was a girl. Lana left Vietnam to attend the University of California, Berkeley. When the narrator reunites with her, she is living in Brentwood and working at an art gallery while also pursuing a singing career. Though the narrator thinks that she has talent in addition to being very attractive, Lana's parents are scandalized by her onstage persona, which they believe will ruin her chances for marriage. The narrator also reunites with his old college friend Sonny, who edits a Vietnamese language newspaper. The general opens a liquor store a year after his arrival, where he employs Bond. Meanwhile, Madam opens a restaurant. She never bothered to cook in her home country. Due to plenitude of servants, her relatively modest life in the USA requires her to do more household chores, in which she discovers her talent for cooking. Funds earned at the liquor store and the restaurant, along with those from the General's charitable organization, the Benevolent Fraternity of former soldiers of the Republic of Vietnam, helped to fund a guerrilla army that plans to take back control of Vietnam from the communists. At the wedding, the narrator also encounters a congressman, an anti-communist Republican representative of Orange County, who later organized a meeting at a country club with other Western sympathizers of South Vietnamese plight, including the narrator's idol, Dr. Richard Head. The general uses his contacts in California and in South Vietnam to continue fighting a war against the Viet Congress and its sympathizers. One day during a private discussion in the storeroom of his liquor store, the general tells the narrator that he suspects that there is a spy among them. To distract attention from himself as the mole, the narrator offers the name of the corpulent major. Initially, the general does not believe this, but his distaste of the majors being both fat and Chinese sways him to think that the major is a sleeper agent. Bond agrees to kill the major. He and the narrator, who quickly regrets identifying the likable man as a spy, await the major at his apartment complex, and they knew that he will soon be returning from the gas station where he works as an attendant. It is the 4th of July when the narrator presents the major with a bag of gifts that he obtained that day in Chinatown. Then Bond walks up from behind the major and shoots him in the head. The narrator leaves California soon after the major's killing, which Bond labels as an assassination, to go to the Philippines to work on a film entitled The Hamlet. The congressman has recommended him to the film's director, the author, as a script consultant. The narrator's purpose is to ensure that there are Vietnamese characters in the film and that they are depicted fairly. Instead, he clashes with the author and is later nearly killed in the film's makeshift cemetery during an explosion that has been written into the script. The narrator releases the film studio from any liabilities in exchange for $10,000. When he returns to Los Angeles, the narrator gives half of the money to the Capulan major's widow. Also during his return, he discovers that Sonny is now in a relationship with Sophia and that the couple is in love. Sonny presents the problem to the general, however, due to his leftist politics and his articles which encourages the refugee community to put war behind them. When the narrator expresses his wish to return to Vietnam with Bond, who has agreed to join the general's guerrilla army, the general says that the narrator can go if he is willing to kill Sonny. Though the narrator knows that man doesn't want him to return to Vietnam, he insists on going to save Bond's life. Therefore, the narrator accepts the general's challenge to kill Sonny, shooting his old friend 5 times during a visit to his apartment. The narrator departs for Bangkok, Thailand, where he and Bond reunite with Claude at the airport. While in Bangkok, the narrator sees the Hamlet at a local theatre. He notices that his name has not been credited. Bond hates the film, alleging that it failed to represent their people properly. The narrator counters that if it wasn't for him, no Vietnamese character would have been included at all. From Thailand, the narrator and Bond go to Laos and nearly make it across the border into Vietnam when they are captured by the communists after an attack on their camp. The pair are kept in a detention camp for over a year. Under the orders of the commandant, the narrator is forced to write his confession. He also endures various forms of torture to help him answer the question put forth by the commissar of the camp. What is more precious than independence and freedom? The narrator struggles to answer the question. He also comes to terms with the fact that his captor, the commissar, is also his old friend man, whose face has been burned beyond recognition by petrol and acid. And the narrator realizes that the answer to his question is nothing, meaning that all that exists for certain is nothingness. The commissar and the commandant agree to release him and Bond from the camp. The men are briefly sent back to Saigon. From there, they are ferried across the Mekong River and sent out of the country on a fishing trawler that holds 150 people. The vessel is cramped and suffocating. The narrator realizes that he may not survive the trip. However, if he does, he will abandon any course that is unrelated to the only one that he now believes to matter, his will to live. Thank you very much.